Now, in the third chapter, the third chapter was about what? The third chapter was about Karma Yoga, right? Krishna is teaching to Arjuna that how he should work with a detachment. He was teaching him Karma Yoga. And then what happened is, then Arjuna asked the question that, Krishna, what is that which forces a person to act in a sinful manner? When he asked this question, then Krishna has to take a detour. And Krishna started explaining about it, how it is because of the lust that one acts in a sinful manner, and the way to get out of the influence of the lust is by cultivation of the spiritual knowledge. And then in this chapter, Krishna again further is explaining about it, how one can get this transcendental knowledge, how he was giving this transcendental knowledge, this Divya Gyan, in the parampara to the Rajarshis. And then, and then again, Arjuna asked another question that, you are telling that you have given this knowledge to the sun god, but, I find that, you are born now, you are born with me, but the sun god is, there existing before you. So then again, because Arjuna asked this question, then Krishna is again explaining about his position, that how, I am unborn, and I have a transcendental birth, and how I come again and again in this world to establish the dharma. And the purpose of my coming is paritanaya sadhuna vinashaya dushkritam. Like that, Krishna is again explaining about those things. See, so the thing is that how what what Krishna wants to speak is about the karma yoga to Arjuna. But these questions have come up, so Krishna is clarifying those questions. Krishna is answering those questions. But again, today we will see that how again Krishna will again come back to the theme of karma yoga. Okay, so just we'll take you back. Uh, just see. If we see from the shlokas again, shloka number 9, 10. See, the first section was about this. See, so see, Krishna told about his position, that how, you know, that how Krishna is transcendental. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yaveti tatvata taktva deham punarjanma neti mameti sojana. So Krishna is explaining his part, because Arjuna has asked that, how I can understand that you are superior to the sun god. So Krishna is explaining about his transcendental position. So explain that how I am transcendental, and if somebody understands this with faith, then he will not have to come back again into this world. And then further, 10 shloka, we find Krishna further explains that how those who become freed from the fear, from the attachments, raga, bhaya, and krodha, and from the anger, and who directly worships Krishna, manmaya mam upashrita, who take shelter of Krishna, so they get purified and they are able to attain love for Krishna. By directly taking to the worship of Krishna, they are able to become purified, and they start worshipping, or they get love for Krishna. Okay, but then not everyone will be able to directly take to the worship of Krishna. So then in 11th shloka, Krishna explained that how no he has created different paths for different people, and in one way all of them are ultimately following his path, which means what? By following their respective paths, eventually they will be able to come back to him only. So like that, so those people who want to indirectly follow Krishna, Krishna has also given a provision for them to follow. This is what 11th shloka Krishna told. And then 12th shloka, now Krishna is explaining that how, you know and why people go to the different demigods, because people have material desires. So that's why they indulge into material activities, and that's why they approach some powerful beings or some demigods. This was the 12th shloka. Now, but now for this kind of people who have material desires, want material enjoyment, how they will become elevated? So for them, Krishna has told that they will become elevated by how? Now for them, I have created a system. What is the system? This is a system of varnashram dharma. Like I have created the 4 varnas and the 4 ashramas, so that the people who are having material desires, they can follow this system, and gradually they will become purified of their material desires. So Krishna has created a system for them. This is what we discussed yesterday. Okay, 4 varnas, 4 ashramas, based upon the quality of their, based upon the qualities and based upon their activities. And Krishna has created this system, but Krishna's role is only of a system maker. Now, 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 who is becoming a brahmana or who is becoming a kshatriya? or who is acquiring the mode of goodness or passion, that Krishna is not determining. That is an individual's choice. Now, based upon what an individual is choosing, based upon that, one is able to get into a Brahmana or Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra, no, a Shudra birth, like that. So in that way, although Krishna is Kartaram, although Krishna has created this system, but still he is not the doer. No, because he is not no, he's not running into the details. He has created a system and it is running on its own. And different people, as per what they deserve, they get, being into this system. And then further shloka, which we discussed yesterday, was also again Krishna is further elaborating about how he is a non-doer. So Krishna is explaining that how no, namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha iti mam yobhijanati karma bhin na sabbadhyate. That Krishna is not acting. Krishna is not ordinary. No, no, he is not namam karmani limpanti. Krishna is not becoming affected by the activities. So even though we find Krishna comes in this world and he's performing different activities, like he's born in the family of a Kshatriya. He's acting as a Kshatriya, or he was acting as a Vaishya for some period of time. So even though he may be apparently looking to be, acting as a Kshatriya or as a Vaishya, but he is not affected. He is not affected by those activities. He's not internally affected by those activities, and he's not performing a role as a Kshatriya or a Vaishya for getting some material benefits. No, no, he's transcendental. His activities are transcendental. So in that way, Krishna is different. Krishna is transcendental. And if somebody understands this knowledge, that how Krishna is transcendental, he's not acting the way we all act. We all act out of our material desires. Now, we all act out of getting some results. We all act in a way that we become affected by some emotions. But Krishna is not acting out of it because Krishna is complete. Krishna is completely transcendental. If somebody understands this knowledge, then what will happen? He will also his actions will also become transcendental. Now his actions will also not cause bondage to him, because he will also start acting without fruitive desires. Till this thing we have discussed. I hope the link will be clear till now. Now let us come to the next section. So now Krishna is establishing that how the next shloka. Evam gyatva kritam karma purver api mumukshubhi kuru karmeva tasmatvam purve purvataram kritam. So evam gyatva kritam karma purver api mumukshubhi. Mumukshubhi means what? Those who want moksha, those who want liberation. Purver means in the past. See, evam gyatva, right? Knowing this. Knowing what? Previously Krishna is saying what? That how Krishna is not bound by the activities. Krishna is transcendental. His activities are not ordinary. His activities are not material. Right? So knowing this, or knowing about the transcendental position of Krishna, many people in the past were desiring liberation. Kuru karmeva tasmatvam purve purvataram. They have also acted in a right way, in the right manner. So Krishna is explaining, you see, all the liberated souls in the ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should also perform your duty following in their footsteps. So Krishna is explaining that how in the past many people have also performed their duties understanding about my transcendental nature. Or in other words, other people have also performed their duties without material desires, without material attachments, like the way I am doing. So you should also follow in their footsteps. You should also not be attached. Like here Arjuna is not inclined to fight the war. Now thinking that okay, if I will fight the war, then I will lose the king, I will lose my people, and what will be the gain and all. So basically, he is having his own attachments. But Krishna is saying that don't act out of attachments. Because many intelligent people in the past who were desiring liberation, they also acted transcendentally without material attachments. So we can see that this process of karma yoga, which Krishna is mentioning here is, so Krishna is mentioning that how it is time tested. Many people have also followed it in the past and they have also got liberation. And the same thing holds for Krishna consciousness also. The Krishna consciousness path, the beauty about it is It is a time tested process. It's not that we are the first people to follow this process and see what comes. No, many people have followed this process in the past, and they have got the results promised in the Shastras. And many people who are following now, they can also, to some degrees, they can also have realization of what Shastras are telling is right, what results or what benefits we may be getting by following the Krishna consciousness. So we find that it is true to many extents. We find that way. So it's a Krishna consciousness is a time-tested process. Okay. So Krishna consciousness is neither a modern process nor an ancient process. It is an eternal process. No, it's not that it's a modern process. No, only in the modern times it is there, or it is not that it is an ancient process that only in the ancient time it was there. No, it's a eternal process which exists for all the times, and that's the beauty about this process. So we can be very confident in this following this path. No? So Krishna is giving this confidence to Arjuna that you also follow this path. No? Like the way people have other followed earlier. Yeah, please one of you read this Bruce part.
Foolish persons or neophytes in Krishna consciousness often want to retire from activities without having knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Arjuna's desire to retire from activities on the battlefield was not approved by the Lord. One need only know how to act. To retire from the activities of Krishna consciousness and to sit aloof, making a show of Krishna consciousness, is less important than actually engaging in the field of activities for the sake of Krishna.
Yeah. So it's not that one has to not act. No. See, the motivation of the work decides whether it is going to be binding or liberating. Right now, so it's not the work and which it is not the work which is the deciding factor, but it is the consciousness behind the work which is the deciding factor. किस consciousness से किया जा रहा है वो decide करेगा कि उस work का क्या result रहेगा. That's the point. Right? So like very common example Papa mentions, like the milk. If somebody takes the milk, somebody takes milk and he may end up with indigestion. But now see, the same milk, if it is turned into what? Yogurt, into dahi, then what will happen? It will cure the indigestion. Same way, ordinary activities, if somebody is performing ordinary activities, somebody is performing activities or karmas, out of fruitive desires, out of enjoying mentality, then that leads to bondage. But if somebody is performing activities without these fruitive activities, without material desires, then that will not cause bondage. Rather, it is going to cause liberation. Like in our Krishna consciousness, we are also doing many activities, isn't it? We are also building temples, and we are also, and you will find that devotees also doing so many activities that devotees also doing. Like we have our Grasta devotees, they're also going to the job, they're also trying to maintain the family, right now. So then, what is the difference between them and the other people? Those people who are not devotees, so they are becoming entangled in the karmas. But for a devotee, because he is focused in his devotional service, so then his activities also become a source of liberation. That's what Krishna is explaining here. That Arjun, you are thinking that by not indulging into this war, you will be free from the karma. But it is not like that. No, rather by not participating in this war, you are going to be under the influence of the karma. Because you are a Kshatriya, if you will not fight, it will be sin. Because and that will lead to the bondage in your case. But on the contrary, if you will fight because I want it and because it is a dharma, then you will become freed from the bondage. Now you will not get sinful reactions. You will not get it will be not a sinful activity that it is being told. So see again, Krishna is again coming back to karma yoga. That's what I discussed in the beginning. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan gives a purport, more understandable purport. Go ahead, read this below part.
Knowing me, thus, evam, previous persons desiring liberation, purve mumukshubhi, my students such as Vivashwan, who followed the teaching, performed nishkam karma. You also should indeed perform action and not renounce action. If one is impure in heart and one should perform these actions to purify the heart, which leads to Gyan. If one is already pure in heart, one should perform the action to teach others. How did the previous persons perform the actions? They perform actions following the actions of people much previous to them long ago. Purvataram.
To see what is there, you see, the Krishna is urging Arjuna to do Nishkam Karma, right? Performing the activities without any selfish desires. You know? So that is what is the Nishkam Karma. So Krishna wants Arjuna to fight. Now you just fight. You don't think that, whether you're going to get kingdom or, whether you will not get the kingdom or, what will happen. You will get so much sinful reactions. Right? Don't think about all this botheration. It is your duty to fight, as a Kshatriya. So you fight. That is called the Nishkam Karma Yoga. So Krishna extended how in the past also so many people have performed the Nishkam Karma, and you should also perform the Nishkam Karma. Yeah. You should indeed perform action and not renounce the action. Right? If one is impure in the heart, one should perform these actions to purify the heart, which will lead to the jnana. Okay. So if somebody has not become purified in the heart, then it is better for him to perform the actions. Because if he will try to be artificially to be detached from the actions, then what will happen? He will not be able to do so. Like for example, like Arjuna, if he thinks that okay, let me become a sannyasi, let me not fight, let me not try to get a kingdom, because he is not purified of the Kshatriya spirit. The Kshatriya spirit is still there, so he may try to imitate a Brahman, a sannyasi. No, he may go away from the war, and he may try to become a bhikshuk, a beggar. And if you will go to the house of someone and he will say, give me bhiksha, and they will say, अरे इतने हट्टे कट्टे आदमी हो, क्या भिक्षा भिक्षा मांग रहे हो, जाओ कुछ काम धंधा करो. Then because his Kshatriya spirit is not purified, he will not be able to tolerate that. He will, he will quarrel with the person, or he may kill the person. So in that way, he will be engaging into adharma. So if he will not perform his duty as a Kshatriya, then what will happen? His nature will not allow him to be steady. His nature will come into some other ugly form. That's why it's better for him to engage his nature properly, right? As a Kshatriya dharma, to fight for the dharma. That's right. As long as that mode of passion is not purified, right? So this is what the Shastra says. And even if somebody is purified in the heart, okay, he is purified in the heart, still one should act. For what purpose? To teach others. Like the great kings like Janak, like the example was given earlier, Janak Maharaj. Now, many of these people, like, even the Pandavas, you will find. It's not that they were having material desires because of which they were ruling the kingdom and ruling the people. No, they were doing it because it was their duty assigned by Krishna. Krishna wanted some Raja Rishis to rule this world. So that's why they act, even though they don't have any desire for the kingdom and other things. So same way, even if you don't have desire, even if you're purified of the desire, still I want you to perform this duty. That's what is being spoken there. And that is how the people have acted in the previous time. Okay. Now further section, Krishna is now going to speak how to act in the Karma Yoga by which one can get free from the bondage. So now Krishna is going to further educate about it. Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayopi atra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshami yajgyatva mokshaye shubhat. Right? So Krishna is now going to speak that how he should perform the Karma Yoga, how he should perform the Nishkam Karma Yoga, by which he can become liberated. So he's telling, you see, Kim Karma, Kim Akarmeti, Kavayo Api Atra Mohita, right? What is the right action and what is the wrong action? Or let us say, Prabhupada is translated as inaction. So more appropriately, this is Akarma is more of a wrong action, you can say. So now, what is right action? What is wrong action? And Kavaya means even the intelligent people, they are mohitaha. Mohita means they also become bewildered, they also become illusioned. Right? बड़े बड़े विद्वान लोग भी इस चीज को लेकर समझ नहीं पाते हैं, वो भी इस चीज को लेकर भ्रम में आ जाते हैं कि आखिर क्या सही एक्टिविटी है और क्या सही एक्टिविटी, ना क्या धर्म है और क्या धर्म है. राइट, वो लोग भी इस चीज को समझ नहीं पाते हैं. तो लेकिन तत्ते कर्म प्रवक्ष्यामि, लेकिन मैं आपको समझाने वाला हूँ वो. I'm going to make you understand about, I'm going to tell you about that, what is that right action, and what will happen by knowing that. If you understand about what is right action, then yaj gyatva mokshashe asubhat. If you understand the right actions, then you will be able to attain what? You will be able to attain moksha. You will be able to attain liberation, and you will be able to attain you will be able to get rid of all the inauspiciousness, ashubhat. If you understand what is the right action, by knowing the right action, you will be able to become, you will be able to move towards liberation, and you will be able to get rid of the inauspiciousness. That is what Krishna is telling, right? So see, it is very difficult to understand, what is the right course of action and what is the wrong course of action. In our life also you will find it's very difficult some of the times. No, like suppose some woman is pregnant, and now suppose, at the time of delivery, the situation comes that, either the child can be saved or the woman can be saved. So it is very difficult to make out in that situation, isn't it? Like here now, Arjuna is also not able to understand, that should I fight or should I not fight? Because, the kingdom is going on good. Even Duryodhana was also able to rule nicely only. So if I will fight, so many innocent people will get killed and all. So many of the women will become bereft of the husbands, and then will be one sankar. Right? So if you will see, from many perspective, it looks to be, there's no need to fight like this. But then there are other perspectives that how the kings, the Duryodhana and the party they are adharmic people. They have acted in a sinful ways. They don't deserve to be on the throne. So, so in such situations, it is very difficult to make out what is the right course of action and what is the wrong course of action. Just like, Yudhishthir Maharaj, after the Mahabharat war has happened, so Yudhishthir Maharaj was very much disturbed. He was thinking that, Array, it was because of my foolish material desires that I ended up with this war, and there was so much killing. So many of my brothers, the Duryodhana, the Kaurav parties, they died. So many soldiers died. You know, I could have avoided these things. So Yudhishthira was also very much disturbed in his mind. He was not able to understand that, should I have done this or not? I have ended up having so much of the sinful reaction, and because of that, then finally, then he went to meet with Bhishma Dev, and then Bhishma Dev told him that, you see, it is very difficult. Again, Bhishma Dev also told the same thing, that it is very difficult to understand what is the right course of action and what is the wrong course of action. That's why one should not try to understand. Rather, one should try to follow what is the Lord's plan. So in this situation, it was the Lord's will that Lord wanted all of you to fight and to uproot the Kauravas party. So you should simply accept the plan of the Lord. And now the Lord wants you to accept this throne and to rule the people, rule the kingdom. So you should simply follow the plan of the Lord. Don't try to bother your head with what is the right course of action, what is the wrong course. No, whatever is being ordered by the superiors, by the spiritual masters, by the authorities, accept it and follow it, and understand that it is going to bring all the auspiciousness. Now, irrespective of whether we are able to understand it or not understand it, if we will simply follow the path, the superior's dictation, the paramparas, the orders, then it is going to bring what? It is going to bring auspiciousness, and it is going to bring liberation. That's the point. So Prabhupada mentions about this. See, Prabhupada writes, therefore, one has to follow in the footsteps of the previous authorities in the line of disciplic succession. Otherwise, even the most intelligent men will be bewildered regarding the standard actions of Krishna consciousness. So it's no surprise that there will be some bewildering situations in our life. But what is our duty? We have to approach a bona fide spiritual master. Now, rather, Krishna purposefully orchestrates such situations in our life to again help us to become humble and to make us realize that we have to take shelter of the devotees. We have to take shelter of the Shastra. Yeah, please read this blue part.
It is said that one cannot ascertain the ways of religion simply by imperfect experimental knowledge. Actually, the principles of religion can only be laid down by the Lord Himself. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. No one can manufacture a religious principle by imperfect speculation. One must follow in the footsteps of great authorities like Brahma, Shiv, Narad, Manu, the Kumaras, Kapila, Prahlad, Bhishma, Sukadev Goswami, Yamraj, Janak, and Bali Maharaj. By mental speculation, one cannot ascertain what is religion or self realization. Therefore, out of causeless mercy to his devotees, the Lord explains directly to Arjuna what action is and what inaction is. Only action performed in Krishna consciousness can deliver a person from the entanglement of material existence.
Yes, so we have to know from the authorities, because it is very difficult to understand what is the right course of action, right? So महाजनो येन कथा सुपंथा बताया गया, धर्मस्य तत्वम निहितम गुहायम, that is being told, that dharmasya tattvam, that what is the right course of action, what is dharma, that it is very difficult to make out. So one should follow in whom? One should follow in the footsteps of the great souls. By them we can understand. Okay, so now again further Krishna is going to explain further. He's telling, कर्मणो हि कर्मणो हि अपि बोधव्यम बोधव्यम च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोधव्यम गहना कर्मणो गतिः. So Krishna is further telling, karmano hi api bodhavyam. Bodhavyam means one should know, one should understand. So what one should understand? One should understand about the karma. Karma means the right course of action. And bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha. What is vikarmana? Vikarma means the sinful actions or the forbidden actions. So one should understand what is the forbidden action, what is the right action, and akarmanascha bodhavyam. See, three things. Akarmana means what? Those actions which don't give any results. It is also called as inaction. Inaction means what? An action which does not give you some results. So Krishna is saying that how? One should understand that what is the right course of action, what is the wrong course of action, and what is that action which does not give any results. Now, one should try to understand all these things. And gahana karmano gatihi. Gahan. Gahan का मतलब क्या है कि very difficult. गहन होता है मतलब कि जो बहुत गाढ़ा, जिसको समझना बड़ा मुश्किल है, राइट? सो गहना कर्मणो गति ही. गति मीन्स यहाँ पे दिया कि एंट्रेंस, एंड कर्मणा मीन्स वर्क, so it is very difficult to make out that which work, which work which work will do what, which work will bring what kind of results. It is very difficult to make out, like in our life now we are having some kind of suffering. Now it is very difficult to make out that this suffering is because of what reason. This is because of some sinful activities which we did recently, or this is because of something which we have done in the past, or which action has led to this particular reaction. It is very difficult to make out that the reactions which we get, it is born out of which actions, right? Like we find that some good thing happened to the bad people, or some bad thing happened to the good people. It is very difficult to make out that how it is happening. So that's why it is called Gahana Karmano Gati. It's very difficult, very intricate. The science of the karmas is very, very intricate. So that's why one should not put too much brain into this. Understand some basics and go ahead. Perform your duties. The more focus is to perform our duties, okay? So Krishna is explaining here that we should know about these three things, that karma, vikarma, and akarma. Right? Karma means what? The right activities, or the activities which are prescribed in the Shastras. That is called as the karma. And what is vikarma? Those activities which are forbidden in the Shastras, or which are sinful activities. They are called as the vikarma. And what is akarma? Akarma is those activities which if you perform, you don't get any reactions. So that is the subject matter of the karma yoga. When you perform an activity without desire, without some fruitive desires, or in devotional consciousness, or in detached consciousness, then you will not get results. Then those activities don't lead to some results. That is called as the akarmana. Okay? So essentially, there are some activities which leads to some good results. They are called as the karma. There are some activities which result to some bad results, like breaking of these 4 regulatory principles. That is vikarma, right? Breaking of these 4 regulatory principles. And then there are some activities which leads to no results. So they are called as the akarma. Okay. So Krishna is saying that I am going to explain to you about all these things. Prabhupada is writing, to understand all this, one has to associate with the authorities in Krishna consciousness and learn the secret from them. This is as good as learning from the Lord directly. Otherwise, even the most intelligent persons will be bewildered. So if you want to understand this, then we have to take shelter of Krishna consciousness, or the Shastras, or the spiritual masters. Then we will not be bewildered. Okay. Now further, next Krishna is telling very deep shloka. कर्मणि अकर्म यः पश्येद अकर्मणि च कर्म यः स बुद्धिमान मनुष्येषु Sayukta Krishna Karma Kret. So now Krishna is explaining, what is the symptom of a karma yogi? What is the symptom of a nishkam karma yogi? That is Krishna is explaining. Like like all of you know. Now, can any of you tell when we say karma, right? What are the meanings, different meanings of this word karma? Anyone?
Action.
One is action, right? Right. When you are doing some activity, you can tell this is the karma, right? Karma means you are doing an activity, that is karma, right? मेरा कर्म, उसने वो कर्म किया, right? खाना पीना जो भी करना है सब हमारे कर्म हो गया, right? एक हो गया एक्शन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से ना, वन कर्मा इज एक्शन, ओके, व्हाट एल्स?
Results of
Reaction.
previous action.
हाँ, द रिजल्ट्स ऑफ प्रीवियस एक्शन, राइट? तो जी मेरा कर्म खराब है, तो जी एग्जाम में रिजल्ट खराब आ गया, तो जी कर्म खराब चल रहा है, वो जी हाँ कर्मा खराब चल रहा है, वो जी हेल्थ खराब हो गया, वो जी कर्मा खराब चल रहा है, क्या करूँ, right? So another context is, the reactions of our previous activities. That is also another karma. Okay. What else? Karma also refers to this law, the law of karma, right? In general, say
Law.
the law of karma को हम लोग कर्मा से बोलते हैं ना. Sometimes we say karma means the laws of karma. कर्म के हिसाब से तो देखो ऐसा मिलना ही लिखा था उसके जीवन में. So it refers to also the laws of karma. Okay. So this is the third meaning. Okay. Like this, no, there are multiple meanings for this karma. One is action. Second thing is the reactions of our activities. Third thing is the system of the action and the reactions. These laws of the action. And third thing is one type of action which is the pious actions. Even like here in this context, karma means what? Pious activities or the activities which are sanctioned by the shastras. तो उसके लिए भी हम लोग कर्म बोलते हैं ना, पुण्य कर्म. पुण्य कर्म को भी जनरली हम लोग कर्म बोल देते हैं. So these are the four meanings of karma. Okay. And similarly, when we say akarma, there is a karma. We also say there is a akarma, right? So akarma means also two things, right? What is the meaning of akarma? One meaning of akarma is akarma means not doing any activity. So in other words, it is inaction, not doing any activity. One is not doing any activity. One is just sitting idly. So that is also one meaning of akarma. And second meaning of akarma is what? One is doing some activity which does not which does not bear any results. One is performing some action which does not give any results, which does not give any material results, which does not give any papa or punya. Like we as a devotees, we do some activities, like when we are chanting Hare Krishna, it is not giving any pious or impious results, it is giving us devotional results. So it is also inaction, that way. Like or our eating, we are taking Krishna Prasad. So now, if we are not taking Krishna Prasad, it is bearing some results. It is giving some pap results, some pap karma, right? But taking Prasad, we don't get any pap or punya. We get devotional results. So that is also the another meaning of inaction. So inaction means activity which does not give any results or not doing any activity. That is also called as the inaction. Okay. So now with this meanings, now let us. So in this particular shloka, what is this? In which context it is being used? See? It says karmani akarma yah pashyet, right? Karmani akarma yah pashyet, right? Karmani means what? Action. Now akarma means what? Inaction. Now yah pashyet means one who observes or one who sees, right? तो कर्म में जो अकर्म देख पाता है, राइट? मतलब एक्टिविटी हो रही है, बट कैसे वो एक्टिविटी तो हो रही है बट वो फिर भी अकर्म है, फिर भी वो इनएक्शन है. नो, यहाँ पे जो कर्मा बताया गया, व्हाट इज कर्मा? दैट इज एक्टिविटी, एक्शन के लिए बताया गया यहाँ पे कर्मा. तो कर्मणि अकर्म यह पश्येद. कर्म हो रहा है लेकिन वो फिर भी कर्म नहीं है, वो अकर्म है, जो ये देख पाता है. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लाइक अवर ईटिंग, राइट? वी आर ईटिंग, इट इज एन एक्टिविटी. So although it is an activity, but it is inactivity. Why? Because it is not bearing any results. So that is called the, karmani akarma yaha pashyet, one who is able to see, है ना, inaction in action. One is able to see what? In action, है ना, akarma in karmana, right? जो है ना कर्म में भी अकर्म देख पाता है, या फिर जो अकर्म देख पाता है कर्म में, राइट राइट, जो कर्म में अकर्म देख पा रहा है, राइट, जो देख पा रहा है कि कर्म हो रहा है बट फिर भी ये कर्म नहीं है, ये अकर्म है, ये एक्शन, ये इनएक्शन है. दैट इज द मीनिंग, वन इज एबल टू सी, है ना, वन इज एबल टू सी एक्शन इन वन इज एबल टू सी इनएक्शन इन एक्शन. दिस इज द मीनिंग, एंड सेकंड थिंग इज अकर्मणि च कर्म यह, राइट, पश्येद अकर्मणि च कर्म यह, राइट, अकर्मणि में कर्म जो देख पाता है, राइट, कि इनएक्शन है लेकिन फिर भी एक्शन हो रहा है, अकर्मणि, राइट. फॉर एग्जांपल लाइक राइट, फॉर एग्जांपल like in this case, or let us say, in the modern times there are so many people who have become sadhus, so called sadhus, now we have yogi ji, let us say, in this cloth he is there as a sannyasi, right. Now see, although he has wear the dress of a sannyasi, sannyasi means with detached from all kinds of material activities. He will not work for any material activities, he will simply work only for propagation of spiritual knowledge. That is a sannyasi. So now apparently he has wear this clothes. Apparently he is he has become a sannyasi. But because he is not purified in his desires, so he wants to do something for the nation, something for the people. So that's why he is doing politics. Although, so then what is happening is, although he is appearing to be akarm, he's in inaction. Being a sannyasi, he's supposed to be in inaction, but actually he is what? He is into activities. He is bearing results because he's doing fruitive activities. He is doing politics. He wants to do benefit for the people. He also has his own motives, so he's getting results out of them. Clear, no? Like in this case now, Arjuna, he's a Kshatriya. He's supposed to fight, but if he's choosing to not fight, he's trying to become a sannyasi. So what will happen? He will try to be a sannyasi, he will not perform that karma, but what is happening? His mind is not purified. So in his mind, he will not be able to be feeling satisfied. Afterwards, he will feel that, Arey, I should have fight, I should have fought. These people have, they have served our kingdom, they have, insulted our wife. I should have killed them. So in mind, he will then have all those thoughts, and then later on, those will transform into some actions also. Okay. So although apparently he may choose to go for inaction, but that is going to lead to what? That is going to lead to actions. This is the meaning. Okay. One who is able to see this, that how there is action in inaction and there is inaction in action. सुना आपको, right? One who is able to see what, how कर्मणि अकर्म यह पश्येत, right, कि कर्म में भी अकर्म है और अकर्म में भी कर्म है ना, जो ये देख पाता है, स बुद्धिमान मनुष्येषु सह युक्त कृष्ण कर्म कृत, स बुद्धिमान मनुष्येषु, मनुष्य मीन्स मनुष्य, बुद्धिमान मीन्स इंटेलिजेंट, है ना, सह युक्त, युक्त मीन्स व्हाट ना, ही इज प्रोपोजल लिखा है कि ही इज इन द ट्रांसेंडेंटल पोजीशन. एट युक्त, युक्त का मतलब होता है कि जो कनेक्टेड है, लेकिन वैसे योगा, योगा मीन्स व्हाट, वन हु इज लिंक्ड, वन हु इज कनेक्टेड विद द एब्सोल्यूट. So here yukta means more appropriately who is well connected with the supreme. Basically he is connected with the transcendence. He is connected with the supreme, right? So जो ये इस तरीके से देख पाता है, so he is connected with the supreme. He is into a divine position. He is into a transcendental position. Saha yukta, and he is in the transcendental position. Krishna karma krit, even though he may be engaged into many activities. He may be apparently engaged into many activities, but still he is not bearing any results. No, he is still transcendently situated, like that it is being mentioned here. Okay? थोड़ा सा ये इनडायरेक्ट श्लोक है, तो थोड़ा समझने मुश्किल लग रहा होगा, बट मोटा मोटा मीनिंग इसका ये, वन हु सीज inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position although engaged in all sorts of activities. See, basically, see, Krishna is telling to Arjuna that, you don't think that you are going to fight and it is going to lead to the results, sinful activities. No, no. Even you are going to fight, still you are not going to incur any karma. आप लड़ाई जो करोगे, लड़ाई करने के बावजूद भी आपको कुछ सिंफुल एक्टिविटी, सिंफुल रिएक्शंस नहीं मिलेगी, क्योंकि आपका जो ये लड़ाई करना है ना, इट विल नॉट बियर एनी रिजल्ट्स. Why? Because you are performing it for what? You are performing it for my sake. it is going to be a karma yoga. It is going to be nishkam karma yoga. So that's how Krishna is, making him. So one who is able to understand this, that how even in action there is inaction, and in inaction also there is action. He is an intelligent man, and he is transcendently situated. He is performing nishkam karma yoga. He will not be bound by the reaction. Okay. See some more elaboration. See, karmani akarma pashyate, right? Akarma means no karmic reaction, right? So example क्या हो गया? Seeing in the external activity there is no karmic reaction. This is the meaning. Even one is performing actions, but there is no reaction. So externally one may be active, but one is not bearing any results. Like for the case of devotees, because we have a devotional consciousness, we are doing it for Krishna. We don't get some karmic reactions. Even if somebody is not having devotional consciousness, but even if he is having detachment, see, when we say about karma yoga, it's not that one is doing for Krishna, but karma yoga means one is not attached to the fruits. One does not desire fruits for himself. So even if one is detached from the fruits, then his actions will not bear some results. Okay. So here, like example is Arjuna's fighting leads to no karmic reaction. This is the meaning. And second part, akarmani cha karmiyaha, right? No external activity. See in the external inactivity karmic reactions. So externally there is inactivity, right? One is becoming a sannyasi. Like third chapter it was being told by Krishna that how one may be one may be a sannyasi, but if his mind is into the material desires, then what is there? Then it is not proper, right? Because if there's material desires in the mind, then what will happen? He's doing karma, he's doing activities, and those desires will again lead him to karmas. So that is the meaning of. So externally there is inactivity, but still there is karmic reaction for it. For example is Arjuna's silent meditating leads to karmic reaction, right? So if Arjuna withdraws to fight, still is going to get the reaction. So anyways, what Krishna is urging to Arjuna, what is the call of this verse? That give up this superficial vision, and see in a deeper manner. Don't don't see that externally, that okay, if you will fight, then you will have simple reactions and you will be bound in the karma. No, your action is not going to lead you to the results. This is going to be a nishkam karma yoga. That's what Krishna is telling. Prabhupada explains this. See, Prabhupada is explaining all these shlokas in terms of a bhakti yoga, because ultimately bhakti yoga is the topmost yoga, and it is having component of all the yogas. So karma yoga is also part of the bhakti yoga. So Prabhupada is directly talking in terms of bhakti yoga. See, all the purpose, जो भी purpose आप पढ़ोगे आगे वाले भी, ऑल्दो यहाँ पे कर्म योगा के बारे में बात हो रहा है, बट प्रभुपाद उसको भक्ति योगा के टर्म्स में ट्रांसलेट करते हैं ना, बिकॉज सो दैट डिवोटीज कैन गेट बेनिफिटेड फ्रॉम दिस पर्पस. See, Prabhupada is writing, the sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. So in case of the devotees, what happens? When we are conversant with our position that I am a servant of Krishna, and with this consciousness we try to do our activities for pleasure of Krishna, then this consciousness is what frees us from the karmic reaction. We don't incur any karma, because we are doing it with this divine consciousness that I am a servant of Krishna. But see, in case of the karma yogi, see, karma yoga, he is not into this divine consciousness that I am doing it for Krishna, but he knows that there is some supreme, and I have to offer the results of my activity for some supreme. He may think that the supreme is a Brahma Jyoti, etc. And the yoga means, as soon as one understands there is someone supreme, and when one understands that it is Krishna, it is Lord Ram, the supreme is a person, then it is called as a bhakti. This is the difference between the yoga and the bhakti. Bhakti yoga means what? One understands directly the personality of God. He understands that the supreme is Krishna, or he is a personality. As soon as one understands the personality, and then it becomes bhakti. But as long as one is not having clear-cut understanding of the personality of the Lord, then it is a yoga. That's the difference. Okay. Now, so this is what Krishna told. Now Krishna is going to further elaborate at how a karma yogi will act. How a karma yogi will act. Next shloka. Okay, we have 10 minutes. Okay. यस्य सर्वे समारंभ काम संकल्प वर्जिताः ज्ञानाग्नि दग्ध कर्माणाम तम आहो पंडितम बुधा. तो यहाँ पे जो श्लोकाज है, यहाँ से भी कृष्ण इज एक्सप्लेनिंग अबाउट द ना सिम्टम्स ऑफ अ डिटैच्ड वर्कर, राइट। तो जो कर्मयोगी होगा, निष्काम कर्मी हो गया ना, वो कैसे वर्क करता है, उसके क्या सिम्टम्स होते हैं, दैट कृष्ण इज गोइंग टू एक्सप्लेन, यू नो। यस्य सर्वे समारंभ कर्म संकल्प वर्जित, यू नो। यस्य मीन्स one who's all sorts of attempts means activities, काम संकल्प वर्जिता, you know, a person who is performing different activities without any selfish motivations. Kam here means lust means what, selfish motivations, more of a selfish motivation, right? Kam sankalpa, now sankalp means determination, varjita, so a person who is not acting out of fulfilling any material desires, selfish desires, okay. Now, and how this consciousness has come? Gyan agni dagdha karmana. Now, Gyan agni, the fire of the knowledge. Now, one is having the knowledge, and because of that knowledge, one is able to act in this way. One is able to give up the desire for the selfish motivations. Now, tam aho panditam buddha. You know, that is a learned man. Panditam is learned man. You know, so who is a learned man? Now, who is a karma yogi? Who is a nishkam karma yogi? He is the one who performs the activities without any selfish motivations. And how is he able to perform that way? Because he's situated in the knowledge. His knowledge, his knowledge burns the selfish motivations. His knowledge burns the reactions to his activities. You know, whatever activities he performs without selfish motivations, and his knowledge, his jnana, it burns the reactions of those sinful activities. One is understood to be in the full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for the sense gratification. You know, काम संकल्प, right? तो जो सारे कार्य करता है, क्या करता है, सिर्फ एज ए ड्यूटी करता है, बिना किसी सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन के, डिजायर के, ओके, ये पहली बात है। He said by the sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of the work have been burned up by the fire of the perfect knowledge. So see, he has got some knowledge. No, see, as one performs the karma yoga, then what happens is one is awakened more and more in the knowledge. You know, one gets some more realization about the knowledge. You know, one understands that how I'm not the body, I'm the soul. How material enjoyment cannot make me happy. How there is one some supreme. How I should offer the results of my activities for the supreme. So one progresses in this knowledge, and because of this knowledge, what happens is, now his activities, you know, he's not doing activities with selfish motivation. And because he is not acting with selfish motivation, then it is not leading to some results. This is the funda. If you perform activity without motivations, without selfish interest, then it will not lead you to bondage. It will not lead to the reaction. So this is the meaning of a karma yogi. Okay. The Krishna is telling that how the call of this verse is, you know, give up the selfish motivation for the work. Okay. So Prabhupada is explaining again in the terms of for a devotee. Please read.
Only a person in full knowledge can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness. Because the person in Krishna consciousness is devoid of all kinds of sense gratificatory propensities. It is to be understood that he has wound up the reaction of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is actually learned who has attained to such perfection of knowledge. Development of this knowledge of eternal servitor of the Lord is compared to fire. Such a fire, once kindled, can burn up all kinds of reaction to work.
See, for us also as a devotee, na, so we have to act. We may do different activities, but what should be our inherent consciousness? That we are servants of Krishna. We are doing those activities for pleasing Krishna. If that consciousness is not there, if that is not there, then what will be the consciousness? There will be some furtive consciousness. Okay, let me do this activity for getting this mental benefit. Then what will happen? And that will lead to us to the bondage. That will lead to the some pap and the punya karma. Okay, but we as a devotee, when we perform activities for the pleasure of Krishna, we may be going for job, we may want to earn money, but our prime consciousness is not to enjoy with that money or to enjoy with that job. We want to do bhakti to Krishna, and while doing bhakti to Krishna in this world, we also need some material necessities of life. That's why we do some job or we want to get some money. But to enjoy the money, That is not our goal. Our goal is to perform devotional service. So if we have this consciousness, then our those activities will not lead to some pap and the punya. They will not lead to the bondage. So that's why very important that in Krishna consciousness, whatever activities we do, we have to do it with sambandha gyan. Sambandha gyan means what? Understanding that I'm a servant of Krishna. My duty is to serve Krishna. My duty is to please Krishna. If we are not doing with the sambandha gyan, then what happens is we are doing it with a material consciousness. Then that will also lead to the bondage in our life. That's what. Okay. Now further again, what are the further symptoms of a karmi yogi? त्यक्त्वा कर्म फल संगम नित्य तृप्तो निराश्रय कर्मणि अभिप्रवृत्तोपि नैव किंचित करोति सः. Right? Tyaktava karma phala sangam. Sangam is what? Attachment. Karma phal, right? So such a karma yogi, he will have no attachment to the results of one's activities. He is not attached to getting the results, the fruitive results of his activities. He will perform action without desire for the fruits, without attachment to the fruits. Attachment means what? Okay, if only I will get this result, then I will do this activity. No, he will perform his activity irrespective of whether he will get the desired result or not. So that is the meaning of Tyaktava Karma Phal Sangam. He is not attached to the fruits of his actions. And Nitya Tripto, he is completely satisfied. And Nirashrayah, without any shelter. He does not take shelter. He is doing activities, but he is not taking shelter of those activities. It's not that he desires to get those results. See, the meaning of Nirashraya means what? He is detached. No, it does not matter to him. Even if he does not do the duty, he's okay about it. No, he's simply doing it as a sake of duty. He's not attached to the material things. Nirashraya. Now, he's not taking shelter in the material things. He does not want to get some material things. He's not performing his activities for getting some material things. In that way, he's nirashraya. Now, he's not taking shelter of those material activities. This is the meaning. Okay. So he performs his activities as a duty. He's satisfied, and he's not attached to getting some particular results. And karmani abhipravartopi never kinchit karoti saha. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaging in all sorts of activities. So this is the thing, even though he's engaging into many activities, but he's not attached to the results. He's satisfied and he's not dependent. He's not dependent upon the material activities. See, Nirashraya means independent, means he's not dependent upon the results. He's not dependent upon getting the material things. See, so to a good degree, it will look to be like a bhakti yoga, na? Devotee के लिए भी तो ये चीज है ना, applicable है, right? एक ही difference है, but क्या difference है? कर्मयोगी के लिए he's doing it, but without proper understanding that Krishna is the supreme, and I have to offer it, I have to do it for him. He understands that there is some supreme. It may be Nirakar, Brahma Jyoti, and I should do it as a duty. I should offer my results to him. But in the case of a devotee very clearly knows that I'm a servant of Krishna, and ultimately my duty is just to serve Krishna. Whatever results come, that is all in Krishna's hands. Okay? In that way, Bhakti Yoga, this is the difference between the Bhakti Yoga and the Karma Yoga. Okay. So Prabhupada is again explaining in terms of for a devotee. Okay. So this Nirasha means what? He does not take shelter at all of anything for his livelihood. But he does not depend upon those external things. Okay. This is the meaning. Right? So this is another symptom. Okay. Now again, next shlokas, shloka number 21st. Again, 21st to 23rd shloka. Again, further symptoms are being told for the karmi yogi. Okay, I think एक श्लोक और पढ़ लेते हैं. It says, निराशीर यत चित्तात्मा त्यक्त सर्व परिग्रह शरीरम केवलम कर्म कुर्वन् नाप्नोति किल्बिषम. Right? Again, what are further symptoms? He's nirashir. Ashir means what? Asha. So he does not have any material desires. And yat chittatma, yat means controlled. His chit and atma, his mind and intelligence are fully controlled. He has full control over his mind and intelligence. And त्यक्त सर्व परिग्रह, परिग्रह means what? इकट्ठा करने की, proprietorship की जो mentality होती है ना? So he is free from all kinds of the mentality for proprietorship. He does not want to have proprietorship. He is not attached to becoming a proprietor. That is the meaning of Tyakta Sarva Parigraha. And Shariram Kevalam Karma. Shariram is what? For keeping the body and soul together. Kevalam Karma, right? He will simply perform activity for keeping the body and soul together. No? Kurvan Napnoti Kilbisham. No, he does not perform any sinful act. No, so he simply perform activities for maintaining himself. He does not perform any sinful activities. See? Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled. He gives up all sense of the proprietorship over his possessions. He is not attached to his possessions. And he acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus, working, he is not affected by the sinful actions. So in this way, because he's acting in this manner, he is not affected by the karmas. Okay. So one important thing, see here it says, Shariram Kevalam Karma. One is simply doing activities for the fulfillment of, for the maintenance of the body. See, it does not mean that he is a brahmachari. Right now, see, देखो, na, as per the Varna, one is supposed to live in different ways. Like for a Kshatriya. So for a Kshatriya, Shariram Kevalam Karma का क्या मतलब होगा ना? See, being a Kshatriya, he's supposed to have a kingdom. He's supposed to stay in a palace. He's supposed to have a praja. He's supposed to have some kind of opulence. So for a if somebody is of a Kshatriya Varna, like somebody is a big manager, or let us say somebody is the king, then the king is supposed to have some kind of opulence. Now, it is not luxury for a king. It is the necessity for a king to have that kind of luxury. Okay. And similarly, if somebody is a Vaishya or somebody is a Brahmana, so see this Shariram Kevalam Karma, वो उतना ही कर्म करता है जितना कि उसके मेंटेनेंस के रिक्वायर्ड है, राइट? तो देखिए, अगर वो क्षत्रिय है तो क्या करेगा? क्षत्रिय तो क्षत्रिय के हिसाब से जो अप्रोप्रिएट नीड्स है वो उसको रखेगा अपने पास में, वो पैलेस में रहेगा. ऐसा नहीं कि वो झोपड़पट्टी में, not like that, right? अगर वो ब्राह्मण है, then he will try to have a very simple life. If he is a Vaishya, he will have certain other amount of opulence. So this is how, as per the one's varna, जो simplicity हम बोलते हैं ना, simplicity, simplicity will pertain as per one's varna. किस वर्ण में है वो, ब्राह्मण है, क्षत्रिय है, वैश्य है, शूद्र है, उसके हिसाब से उसकी simplicity डिफाइंड होगी. सबके लिए सेम simplicity डिफाइंड नहीं होगी. This is very important, है ना? This is also important thing here it says, and he acts only for the benefits of life. Okay. Please read this blue part and then we'll end. This is with respect for a devotee.
A Krishna conscious person is always dovetailed with the supreme desire, for he has no desire for personal sense gratification. He moves exactly like a part of a machine. As a machine, parts requires oiling and cleaning for maintenance, so a Krishna conscious man maintains himself by his work just to remain fit for action in the transcendental loving service to the Lord. He is therefore immune to all the reactions of his endeavors. Like an animal, he has no proprietorship even over his own body. A cruel proprietor of an animal sometimes kills the animal in his possession, yet the animal does not protest, nor does it have any real independence.
So, see, anyways, essentially the point here is that how, one who is Krishna conscious, he depends upon the Lord. He fully depends upon the Lord. That is the meaning here. Okay. I think we can stop here. Okay. Other shlokas we'll discuss next week. Okay. So this section is about the symptoms of the karma yogi. Okay. So this is the there. So if anyone has some questions, we can discuss. Otherwise, you can feel free to continue. Yes, Avil Prabhu, please tell.
Prabhuji, could you please again explain that in verse number 18, one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction? That one, please.
So Krishna is basically telling that, you see, one who is an intelligent person, he will be able to see that how. Okay, simple है ना, action in inaction, right? And action in action. Very simple. देखो क्या है, there are some activities. If we do, they don't give any results, right? So if somebody is doing activities with devotional consciousness, like for all of us, I told like we are taking prasad, we are taking Krishna prasadam, so it is not giving any result to us. It is not causing any papa or punya result for us, right? But if somebody is simply taking food which is not offered to Krishna, then it is giving papa and punya, right? So now see, one activity is what? One activity is giving results, but the other activity is not giving the results. Okay. So this is the meaning of that there is activity, but there is no result. There is action, but it is inaction. Inaction in terms of what? There's no result for that action, right? Like Krishna is supposed to fight here. Sorry, no, Arjuna is supposed to fight here. Krishna is urging Arjuna to fight. So if Arjuna fights here, then what will happen? Will he get some sinful reactions? No, he will not get some sinful reactions. So even though he's going to act, but he's not going to get any results. In that sense, it is action in inaction. It is inaction in action. Although he's going to do action, but he's not going to get any results out of it. समझ में आया वाला point? तो हम लोग कुछ एक्टिविटीज करते हैं बट इसका रिजल्ट नहीं होता है, और दूसरा क्या है कि एक्टिविटी नहीं कर रहे हैं बट फिर भी क्या है, उसमें भी रिजल्ट है, मतलब उसमें भी हम एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं, राइट? जैसे आपको एग्जांपल दिया हमने सन्यासी का, और somebody is acting in a very detached manner, but in his mind there are so many material desires, he's thinking about material desires, then what will happen? He finally act upon them. So although apparently externally he is looking to be inactive, but actually he is fully active, he is having so many material desires and he is going to get results of those activities. That is the meaning. Like Arjun ke case mein again, if Arjuna says that okay, I will just sit down and I will be a sannyasi, no, he will be into the bondage, because his nature will force him. Kshatriya, afterwards he will feel that arey, these people have usurped my kingdom, they have destroyed my wife Draupadi, I should have killed them, I should have fought with them. Again he will start making some plans and do some other ways. So even though he may try to have inaction, but there's going to be action in that. That's the point. Okay, is that okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. Yes, Aman Prabhu and then Surya Prabhu.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। तो जी एक प्रैक्टिकल चैलेंज आता है इस केस में कि हम लोगों को ड्यूटी करना है, जो कि हम लोगों का नेचर है। तो एक आता है कि जैसे कि अभी कृष्णा ने अर्जुन को मीन्स वो कर रहे थे, हेजिटेट कर रहे थे फाइट करने के लिए। हम लोगों के पास जब ऐसा मीन्स प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में चैलेंजेस आते हैं, तो जैसे कि अभी हमारे सुपीरियर्स बोल रहे हैं, कोई मीन्स सजेशन देते हैं, उसके बाद ऑप्शन हम ही लोगों के ऊपर दे देते हैं, और प्रभु जी हम लोग जो ऑप्शन चूज करते हैं वो गलत भी निकलता है। तो उस केस में होता क्या है कि सुपीरियर से डांट भी पड़ती है कि मतलब इंडिपेंडेंट माइंड हो, ये समझ में नहीं आता है, तो उसको कैसे डील करें प्रभु जी? तो
ओके, तो आपका क्वेश्चन ये है कि हमारे केस में मतलब से कृष्ण अर्जुन के केस में डायरेक्टली कृष्णा ने उनको बोला क्या करना है,
हाँ
राइट ना? कुछ कृष्णा ने भी नहीं बोला, कृष्णा ने बोला यथ इच्छसि तत्कुरु। ओके, देखो भाई,
यस
तुमको मैंने सब कुछ बता दिया, अभी तुमको जो करना है तुम करो, क्यों? ठीक है। तो आ, ओ कृष्ण,
मेरा जस्ट लैपटॉप रिस्टार्ट हो गया। हरे कृष्ण, आवाज आ रहा है ना?
यस प्रभु।
ओके, तो आपका जो क्वेश्चन था कि तो अर्जुन के केस में डायरेक्टली कृष्ण थे वहां पे उनको बताने के लिए कि क्या करना है। तो हमारे केस में आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा कि हम लोग सुपीरियर से पूछते हैं, हमें कुछ सजेशंस दिया जाता है और फिर उसके हिसाब से हमें चूज करना पड़ता है कि क्या क्या करना चाहिए, और उसमें से कुछ के कई बार गलत कंसिक्वेंसेस भी आ जाते हैं और डांट भी पड़ती है। आप ये बोलना चाहते हो कि हमें क्या करना चाहिए, पूछना चाहते हो right ना?
यस यस प्रभु।
आ, देखिए कैसा है ना, सी कृष्णा ने भी अर्जुन को चॉइस क्यों दिया? बिकॉज देखिए सरेंडर पे डिपेंड करता है, राइट ना? जो जितना सरेंडर्ड है उसको उतना डायरेक्टली चीजें दी जा सकती हैं, राइट ना? तो इन जनरल क्या है, फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ अस वी नीड अवर फ्रीडम, राइट ना? सी इफ सपोज इफ यू आर नॉट सो मच सरेंडर्ड और आपको बोला जाए कि यही करो, तो क्या होगा? देन यू विल फील चोक्ड अप। वो जो सुपीरियर है उसके पास अगली बार जाओगे नहीं, बोलोगे ये प्रभु जी तो बस है ना, नहीं देखो क्या है ना, वी हैव टू सी देयर में बी सम राइट थिंग्स, बट देन यू आर एबल टू सी दैट। देखिए कई बार हमें पता है कि ये चीजें सही हो सकती हैं, लेकिन फिर भी क्या हमारा कई बार माइंड उसके लिए अलाउ नहीं करता है, एक्सेप्ट नहीं करता है। तो अभी हम लोग आर्टिफिशियल अगर ट्राई करने के लिए जाएंगे तो बड़ा मुश्किल होता है हमारे पास कई कई बार कर पाना ऐसा, राइट ना? तो इसलिए देयर इज अ स्कोप ऑफ फ्रीडम इज ऑलवेज बीइंग गिवन, ठीक है। तो थोड़ा स्कोप हमको दे रहा था, तो वो भी हमारे लिए अच्छा है कि मान लीजिए सपोज किसी सुपीरियर से आपको फ्रीडम दिया जा रहा है, कुछ ऑप्शंस दिए जा रहे हैं, ठीक है, उसमें से आप कुछ चूज कर रहे हो, उसके बाद में अगर कुछ उसका रिजल्ट आ रहा है ना, और तो ठीक है, वो भी आपका एक लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस है आपके लाइफ का, एटलीस्ट उसको लर्न करके आप अगली बार थोड़ा और कॉन्शियसली उसको वर्क करके आओगे, तो इससे उदास होने की बात नहीं है। और ना, एंड अंडरस्टैंड इट्स आल्सो गुड वे, हाँ, अगर आप बहुत सरेंडर्ड फील करते हो तो पूछ भी सकते हो कि प्रभु जी ठीक है, मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा, बता दीजिए मुझे, आप ही बताइए बेस्ट क्या रहेगा, राइट। उस केस में अगर वो आपको बताएं कि ये बेस्ट है, और अगर आप वो करते हो और मान लो उसका रिजल्ट गड़बड़ हो जाता है, उस केस में किसका फॉल्ट होना चाहिए फिर? उस केस में फिर,
जी,
हाँ, उस केस में देखो क्यों
हमारा
क्यों उस केस में देखो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी किसको लेना चाहिए? आपको रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेना चाहिए, समझ राइट ना। जनरली क्यों ऐसा देते हैं कि भाई, क्योंकि क्या, वी आर मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स क्या, हम लोग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं लेते हैं। व्हाट वी डू, वी डोंट टेक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फॉर इट, दैट्स अ प्रॉब्लम, राइट ना। सो इसलिए ऑप्शन दिया जाता है कि भाई आप ही चूज करो, क्योंकि आप ही को फिर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेनी है। हम बोलेंगे कि आप ये करो, और आपने वो किया और कुछ नहीं मिला, फिर आप हमारे सर फोड़ोगे कि प्रभु जी है ना, आपने ऐसा बोला था इसलिए मैंने ऐसा किया। तो दैट्स अ पॉइंट, करेक्ट, राइट ना, क्योंकि कई चीजों के बारे में हम भी बहुत क्लियर नहीं होते, राइट। कुछ चीजों के बारे में आप क्लियर कट बता सको कि हाँ ऐसे करना चाहिए, बट कुछ चीजों के बारे में बहुत क्लैरिटी नहीं होती है, राइट। जैसे अभी मान लीजिए आपको इस कंपनी के लिए जाना चाहिए या उस कंपनी के लिए जाना चाहिए, राइट। अभी हम कैसे बताएं भैया, वी हैव अ लिमिटेड विजन, वी आर नॉट कृष्णा, राइट ना। अभी हो सकता है कि आप एक कंपनी में जाओ जो बैड, आगे चल के बैड साबित हो, राइट ना। बट द थिंग इज कि उसका फिर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कौन लेगा, राइट ना। तो अच्छा है कि आप ही रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लो उसका, ताकि कल आप किसी और को कोसो नहीं अननेसेसरी, दैट्स अ पॉइंट, ओके।
प्रभु जी, तो एक आता है चैलेंज कि जब कहते हैं प्रभु जी, आप मतलब आप ही बता दीजिए, मतलब क्या मेरे लिए अच्छा रहेगा, तो उस टाइम एक रिस्पॉन्स आता है कि ये प्योर डिवोटीज वाली बातें, तो उसको कैसे डील करें?
अ, मतलब वो बोलते हैं, सामने वाला बोलते हैं कि ये प्योरिटी वाली
हाँ,
बात
यस।
हो। तो आप बोल सकते हो कि कोई प्योरिटी वाली बात नहीं है, आप मुझे बता दीजिए, मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, आप बता दीजिए, दैट्स ऑल राइट, ओके। ठीक है,
ओके सर,
ओके फाइन, ठीक है,
थैंक
और
यू
कुछ
सर।
सूर्या प्रभु?
हाँ, हरे कृष्ण जी, प्रणाम।
हम्म।
तो जी मेरा क्वेश्चन था, जैसे अभी यहाँ पे निष्काम कर्म योग के बारे में बातचीत, मतलब कृष्ण बता रहे, भगवान बता रहे थे बेसिकली। इसमें क्वेश्चन ये पुट हो रहा था कि मतलब जैसे जनरली हम लोग देखते हैं कि हम जब कोई वर्क कर रहे हैं किसी पे, काम किसी चीज के लिए, हम किसी गोल को सेट किया हमने, और उस पे वर्क कर रहे हैं और बहुत एफर्ट डाला, और एफर्ट डालने के बाद फिर उससे डिटैच होना उसके रिजल्ट से, वो बड़ा डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है प्रोसेस। मतलब जैसे यहाँ पे निष्काम कर्म की बात हो रही है, तो मतलब इसको इसको निष्काम कर्म को एग्जीक्यूट कैसे करेंगे, ये एक क्वेश्चन बन फुट हो रहा था।
हम्म। देखो पर्पस
जनरली
भी यही है। हाँ हाँ, ठीक है, ठीक है, हाँ बोलो।
मतलब जनरली तो जी कोई एफर्ट, हम कोई डॉक्टर जैसे वकील बनने के लिए एमबीबीएस कर रहे हैं, उसके लिए बहुत एफर्ट डालता है वो, और देन आफ्टर उसको बोला जाता है कि आपको अटैच नहीं होना है, तो मतलब वो अब वो कर भी रहा है और उसको डिटैच भी हो, तो वो थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट प्रोसीजर लगता है। कोई आईआईटी क्रैक करने जा रहा है, उसके लिए बहुत मेहनत कर रहा है, तो
हम्म।
वो अब वहां से अगर वो, अब चूंकि उसके हार्ट में भी पूरा लस्ट भरा हुआ है ऑलरेडी, वो सारी चीजें उसके अंदर भरी हुई है, सारे लस्ट और एंगर, ग्रीड, ये सारी चीजें हैं, और वो
हम्म।
एक्शन भी कर रहा है और उस फ्रूटिव रिजल्ट से वो अटैच भी ना हो, तो बिगनर के लिए तो ये, नियोफाइट्स के लिए तो ये बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है। तो इसका सॉल्यूशन निष्काम का क्या हो सकता है,
ओके,
या
मतलब
फिर एप्लीकेशन कैसे करेंगे? हाँ।
एसेंशियली जैसा मैं समझ पाया, एसेंशियली यू आर आस्किंग कि हम लोग कैसे, नो, हाउ कैन वी बिकम डिटैच फ्रॉम, हाउ वी कैन बिकम डिटैच फ्रॉम द डिजायर फॉर द रिजल्ट्स, ये बोलना चाहते हो, राइट। एसेंशियली हम जो एक्शंस करते हैं, उन एक्शंस से हम कैसे उनके रिजल्ट से हम कैसे डिटैच रह सकते हैं, आप ये बोलना चाहते हो, मोर पर्टिकुलर एज अ डिवोटी। क्योंकि
हम्म।
जनरली हम किसी एक्शन के लिए अगर एफर्ट लगाते हैं तो थोड़ा हम कुछ रिजल्ट्स पाने के लिए हमारा स्ट्रॉन्ग अटैचमेंट भी बन जाता है, करेक्ट, राइट ना।
हम्म। yes, yes, yes।
देखिए, आपने जो क्वेश्चन, जो एग्जांपल्स बताए, तैयारी कर रहे हैं, जेडब्ल्यू की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, उस सबके लिए हम लोग करते हैं, बहुत एफर्ट लगाया तो हमें अटैचमेंट हो जाता है, राइट। देखिए, अभी वो तो बहुत एक वास्ट सब्जेक्ट मैटर है, राइट। देखिए, अभी उस समय क्या, बहुत से दूसरे फैक्टर्स भी इन्वॉल्व है। मान लीजिए जैसे सपोज आपकी कैपेसिटी नहीं है, लेट से कोई व्यक्ति आईएएस बनना चाहता है, अब उसकी कैपेसिटी नहीं है उतनी, तो वो भले कितना ही मेहनत लगाएगा तो नहीं बन पाएगा। दैट्स अ पॉइंट, राइट। देखो, बोले कि निराश नहीं होना है, गीता का श्लोक बार सोचिए कि देखो ना, क्या कर्म करते रहना है, निराश नहीं होना है, कर्म करते रहना है, एक्शन करते रहना नहीं है। देखिए, थॉटफुल भी होना जरूरी है, इंटेलिजेंट भी होना जरूरी है, और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि ब्लेसिंग्स लेना भी जरूरी है, राइट। तो जो थोड़े इंटेलिजेंट लोग हैं, थॉटफुल लोग हैं, उनसे पता है, जैसे सपोज सपोज मान लीजिए मैं आईएएस की तैयारी कर रहा हूँ, और ठीक है मैंने कुछ अटेम्प्ट्स किए, है ना, बट मेरा परफॉर्मेंस बहुत बहुत बिलो है, जो मतलब जो लेटर से जो लोग क्रैक कर रहे हैं उनके कंपैरिजन में मेरा जो रैंक वैंक है बहुत बिलो जा रहा है, लेटर से 1 साल 2 साल 3 साल मैंने ट्राई किया, राइट ना। हाँ, आप कुछ पूछ रहे हो। हाँ।
हाँ तो जी इसमें थोड़ा सा चेंज है, जैसे अब जैसे एमबीबीएस उसने तैयारी करी और एमबीबीएस निकाल भी लिया उसने, मतलब
ठीक
ऐसा सिचुएशन है।
ठीक
मतलब
है।
उसने एमबीबीएस क्रैक किया, आईआईटी क्रैक किया, चला भी गया।
ठीक है।
बट अब वो वहां से वो सेल्फ ग्रेटिफिकेशन के लिए सोच रहा है कि मतलब अब मैंने कर लिया। तो बेसिकली देखते हैं, जैसे अब मैं यहाँ आईआईटी में हूँ, बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे जो क्रैक करते हैं और आते हैं, बट यहाँ आने के बाद उनका इंजॉयमेंट मेंटालिटी बहुत ज्यादा इंक्रीज हो जाता है। तो
हम्म।
उस बात में कर रहा था, मतलब वहां पहुंच गए, वो सक्सेसफुल हो चुके हैं उसके बाद।
हाँ। हाँ। नहीं, ये तो देखो एकदम अलग कंटेक्स्ट है, फिर ये चीज तो अलग ही डिस्कशन है, मतलब कर्मयोग, ये तो वो तो बेचारे कर्मयोग क्या कर रहे हैं, वो तो भौतिक एंजॉयमेंट के लिए करने के लिए आए, राइट ना। वो तो वो तो उनका तो गोल मतलब एंजॉयमेंट ही है, उनको तो किसी पोजीशन में डाल दोगे। अगर आईआईटी में नहीं होते, किसी केएनआईटी में भी होते हैं, तो यहाँ पे भी लोग एंजॉय कर रहे हैं क्यों। आईआईटी में भी लोग एंजॉय करते हैं, राइट ना। जीवात्मा अल्टीमेटली एंजॉय करना चाहते हैं, किसी पोजीशन में उसको क्यों ना डाल दिया जाए। दैट्स द पॉइंट, वो तो एक अलग ही कंटेक्स्ट हो गया, मतलब अलग ही चीज हो गया। मतलब इससे इससे कैसे कनेक्शन हुआ, थोड़ा और एक्सप्लेन करना चाहोगे आप?
मतलब जैसे क्योंकि अब उसने एक्शन किया और उसको रिजल्ट भी मिला, ठीक है, रिजल्ट भी मिल गया, अब उससे अटैच नहीं होना है। मतलब पैसा निष्काम का है ना। मतलब जैसे हमको, अब वो हमको रिजल्ट तो मिल गया, अब हम उससे कुछ इतना इंटरटेनमेंट चाह रहे हैं, मतलब उतनी इंजॉयमेंट के लिए हम
वो
उसको यूज
तभी
कर।
हो सकता है, वो तभी हो सकता है कि जब आपके पास में एक डिवाइन कॉन्शियसनेस हो, जब आपके पास में एक हायर गोल ऑफ लाइफ हो। तो जो कर्म, देखिए ये हम बात कर रहे हैं, ये कर्मी की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, ये कर्म योगी की बात हो रही है, राइट। योगी मतलब कि जो योग है, मतलब जो योग में जुड़ा हुआ है, जो सुप्रीम को मानता है, जो सुप्रीम से जुड़ने लग गया है। तो जब व्यक्ति सुप्रीम से जुड़ने लग जाएगा, तो उसके अंदर में ऐसी कॉन्शियसनेस आएगी कि भाई मुझे अफेक्ट नहीं होना है, मुझे रिजल्ट से अफेक्ट नहीं होना है। बट कोई अगर मटेरियलिस्टिक व्यक्ति है, जिसको सुप्रीम अपने से कुछ लेना देना नहीं है, जिसका सेंस एंजॉयमेंट ही गोल ऑफ लाइफ है, तो वो तो अफेक्ट होगा ही होगा भाई। उसको तो सक्सेस मिलेगा तो छलांग मारेगा लंबी लंबी, और दुख आएगा तो सुसाइड भी करेगा, वो तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है उसके लाइफ में। हाँ, बट जिसके पास में एक डिवाइन गोल है, तो बिकॉज सी वन अंडरस्टैंड्स, देखो जब आप एक डिवाइन गोल की तरफ बढ़ते हो, जब आप एक डिवाइन गोल को समझ पाते हो कि द लाइफ इज मेंट फॉर अ डिवाइन गोल, these things are temporary things of life. I have a divine goal in my life. I have to connect with divinity. Now, either I have to go to the impersonal Brahman, or I have to become a devotee and I have to go to the Krishna Loka. When you have a divine goal in your life, then you can you will not be affected by all these material things of this world. But those people who are like, अब जो आईआईटी वाले बात कर रहे हैं, most of them are not believers of God, or even if they are believers of God, their whole and soul thought process is only sense enjoyment. They can never be nishkam. They are full of calm only. Wherever, even if you put them into IIT, NIT, wherever you put, they are going to be always calm now, right? Because there's no higher goal in their life, no. सुनिए आपको, राइट। ड्यूटी के रेस्पेक्ट में अगर कुछ बात करना है तो कर सकते हैं, राइट ना, बट वो तो उनके केस में तो वैसे रहने वाला है। दैट्स द पॉइंट। हाँ, रही बात आपने जो पूछा था, फिर भी चलो, कि एज अ ड्यूटी हमारे केस में हम लोग को कैसे डिटैच रहना चाहिए। देखिए, हमें एक लेवल का एफर्ट लगाना चाहिए, राइट, ब्लेसिंग्स भी लेना चाहिए, एक्सपीरियंस लोगों से सीखना भी चाहिए। जैसे आप, अगर आप ड्यूटी हो, आप सपोज आईएएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हो, ठीक है, आपके अंदर में कुछ कैपेसिटी है, आपको फील करते हो कि आप कर सकते हो, तो ठीक है, कुछ समय आपने ट्राई किया। बट मान लीजिए रिपीटेडली आपका नहीं हो रहा है, और बहुत पुअर परफॉर्मेंस है, जो होने से बहुत दूर हो, राइट, और वो बहुत फ्रस्ट्रेशन भी लेकर आ रहा है, आपका स्पेशल प्रैक्टिस को भी वो डिस्टर्ब कर रहा है। आप जो बेसिक जो 16 माला करना, 4 नियम पालन करना, वो भी आप छोड़ छोड़ रहे हो उसको धीरे धीरे। तो देन दैट शोज दैट वो आपकी कैपेसिटी में नहीं है। So then it's a fruitless effort. That's no, it's better you should choose something which is of your capacity. That's a parameter, right? तो ड्यूटी की लाइफ में बड़ा मुश्किल नहीं होता, बहुत आसान होता है कि अ, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हम किसी को फॉलो कर पाए, किसी स्पेशल अथॉरिटी को प्रॉपरली फॉलो कर पाए, और एक लेवल का स्पेशल प्रैक्टिस हम कर पाए। अगर ये नहीं हो रहा है, इसका मतलब है कि फिर वी आर एक्टिंग आउट ऑफ द अटैचमेंट्स, दैट इज नॉट गुड। ओके, ठीक है प्रभु, है ना। क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे भी था, इंद्रनील प्रभु पूछते हैं, इंद्रनील प्रभु आप हैं क्या? तो आई थिंक मंगल आरती पर स्टार्ट करो। Then if you are there, okay, he's not there, तो ठीक है, नहीं है तो फिर नेक्स्ट टाइम आंसर किया जाएगा, राइट। फिर क्वेश्चन किसी का? ओके, थैंक यू सो मच प्रभुपाद की। बस मैंने पूछा, प्रभु जी, डज एक्शन हियर आल्सो इंक्लूड थॉट्स और कॉन्शियसनेस और द एटीट्यूड, मेंटलिटी और ओनली फिजिकल एक्शंस? does action here includes thoughts or the consciousness, attitude, mentality और only physical actions, right? देखिए थॉट्स के लेवल पर भी एक्शंस माना जाता है, राइट? इन प्रीवियस युगा में आप देखोगे तो प्रीवियस युगास में, राइट, अब इस युगा में थॉट्स के लेवल पे एक्शंस नहीं माना जाता है, बट प्रीवियस युगा में थॉट्स के लेवल पे भी माना जाता था, उसका रिएक्शंस भी होता था। तो यहाँ पे स्पेशली जब बात करें तो एक बड़े डोमेन में बात किया जाए तो एक्शन विल आल्सो मीन व्हाट मेंटल एक्शंस विल आल्सो इंक्लूड इनटू दैट। मेंटली आप क्या सोचते हो, क्या डिजायर कर रहे हो, वो सब भी एक्शंस में आएगा। ओके, थैंक यू। हरे कृष्णा। कहाँ से एंड करना है इसको?